All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to apostle elders in New York, GMS, salutation to Yahweh around the world that's teaching the truth. All right. And shalom to you, series Akwaf. All right. My name is Maya Ka'ala, Bangad with Chicago Parentship Great Millstone. All right. And this is part 2. Okay. So right here it says, 2nd Ezra chapter 13. All right, verse 40 says, those are the 10 tribes which would carry away prisoners out of their own land the time of Hosea the king, who Shalmaneser the king of Syria led away captive. He carried them over the waters, or he carried over to Assyria. So they came and sold they into another land. So came they into another land, Salak. But they took counsel among themselves that they would lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. All right, it ain't no damn Africa, man. All right, cause you Ham over there. All right, Hamites over there in Africa, man. It said where never mankind dwelt. So talking about America, man. It said that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. Okay. So they had knowledge of the law, all right, the Torah, the Bible, man. So they had knowledge of the law, all right. Like in the previous video, man, like I said, those men from among the northern kingdom, all right, they was back among them, among them when they, during their Syrian captivity was starting in 722 BC, all right. And after, when they went out of Assyria, all right, to lead to coming to Americas, man. All right. And it'll make sense. It'll be after Syrian captivity, man. Cause most I ain't gonna give you no damn break when he punish you, man. You gonna serve your sentence. That's it. All right. Just like we Southern Kingdom had served their sentence during the Babylonian captivity, man. All right. So, all right. After their captivity, all right. So they went into came here to Americas. All right. It says what? It says that they might dare keep their statutes, which they never kept their own land. All right. So they had knowledge of that law, statute, and commandments, man, when they came over here. All right. Okay. In this book, the 10 Tribes of Israel. All right, by Timothy. Hope you can see this right. By Timothy R. Jenkins. Okay. All right, on page 197. All right. It says right here, it says Reverend, y'all can see this. Let me get this clear. Hope you all can see it. It says Reverend Ethan Smith of Vermont relates that in 1815, a maverick of a very respectful Salak. Yeah, Salak. Reverend Ethan Smith of Vermont relates that in 1850, Mr. Merrick, a person of very respectable character, while leveling a mound near his residence on Indian Hill, discovered a strap about 6 inches in length and 1.5 breadth. At each was a loop, probably for the purpose of carrying it. He found it was composed of 2 pieces of thick raw hide, sewed and made airtight with sinews of some animal. In the fold was contained 4 pieces of parchment. One of the pieces was torn to shreds by some neighbors who came to see them. The other 3 were sent to Cambridge. All right. Sent to Cambridge were found to have been written with a pen in Hebrew, plain and legible. The writing was quotations from the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy, from 4th to 6th verse, exclusive. Also, the 11th chapter and 13 to 21st verse, including in Exodus 13 chapter, 11 to 16 verse, inclusive to which the reader can refer. All right, Qanath tells us that these are very passages of the scripture Jews wrote on their phylacteries, one upon their forehead and upon the wrist of their left arm. Okay. Josiah Priest tells us that it is related by Dr. West and Old Indian informed him that his fathers had been possession of a book which they carried with them for a long time, but having lost knowledge of reading it. Right. All right. Could you read Revelation chapter 6? Yahushua didn't break those seals yet, man. They buried it with a Indian chief. Okay. All right. So, there you go, man. All right. So, all right. Now, this is the book. That's a lot. All right. So, this is the book. Let's see. I think it's called The Great Chiefs. All right. The time out book, you get this cheap, man. On page 218. All right. And it says right here, it says sacred armor for a mystical cult. All right, this is the ghost dance. All right, because Gabby, they perform the ghost dance that they'll get Esau off of them. But you can see right here all the fringes they have on their garments, man. All right. It's page 218. Okay, you can see all the fringes, man. They got on their garments. Okay, you can see right here. All right. That's another one. Let's see. Now this is a fanciful lithograph. All right, but how did Esau know about the borders of blue? Would you see on some of the Sioux, man? All right, the Gadite, so-called Native American. All right, you can see some got that border blue on their garments. All right, where did Esau get that from? Cause he seen it. He seen the so-called Native American wearing it upon them, man. All right. Okay. Enough with that. All right. Go back to 10 Tribes of Israel. All right. Go to page 115. And no fringes. The scripture of fringes, Deuteronomy 22:12 and Numbers 15:38. Okay. Now you go 115. All right. All right. It says right here. It says. All right. It's a lot. It's all right. So basically, all right. You're talking about so-called Native American. All right. So it says, in resemblance of the sacred breastplate, the American wore a breastplate made of white conch shell with 2 holes bored in the middle of it, through which he puts the end of the otterskin strap, fastens a white buckhorn button outside of each, as if imitation of the precious stones of Urim, which miraculously blazed on the high priest's breast. The other words, divine oracle, instead of the plate of gold which wore on the forehead, which the words holy are separated into the Most High. The Indian wear around his temple either a wreath of swan feathers or a large piece of swan skin doubled so as only fine snowy down appears on each side in the likeness of tear of a former. The latter wears on the crown of his head tough or white feathers, which they call yakra, but the meaning of the word is not known. He also fastens a number of blunted wild turkey cockspurs toward the toes of his moccasin as a resemblance of the bells which the Jewish high priest wore on his coat of blue. All right. So they didn't have anybody to teach them the law. How do they know these things, man? Because they had the law with them, man. They had people teaching them about this, man. All right, how to do these different rituals and stuff, how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, man. They had the Torah, man, as I read before. All right, and how the priests wear this garment described here. That's in Exodus 28 and 11. Okay, let's read about the city of refuge. All right. All right, it says a town of refuge called Coete, situated in a large stream on the Mississippi, 5 miles above Fort London, formerly stood here. Some years ago, a brave Englishman was protected after killing an Indian warrior in defense of his property. He told Adair that after some months stay there, he intended to return to his home neighborhood, but the chief told him it would prove fatal to him. That's right. It says so he was obliged to stay there until he satisfy the friends of the deceased by present to for full satisfaction. All right, so in the upper county of Muskie, there was an old beloved town called Kusa, now reduced to a small ruined village, which is still a place of safety of those who killed undesiredly. All right. I mean, they ain't meant to kill him, man. It was by accident. Okay. It's in almost every Indian nation, there are several peaceful towns they seem formerly to have been towns of refuge, for it's not within the memory of the oldest people that ever human blood was shed in them, although they often for a person from them and put them to death as well. They got this from the scriptures, man. Town of refuge. All right. As in Numbers 35:11. Okay, Numbers 35:11, the scriptures. All right, let's look up the dietary laws. Okay. Let me see. It's in James Adair book, history of the American Indians by James Adair. He lived among Gad, man, for many years. All right. So this ain't something he made up, man. All right. So right here, 64, the dietary laws. Here you go, right here. It says, page 64. It says, talking about Gad. And right here, talking about the, I believe the Chata. It said they reckon all birds birds of night to be unclean, unlawful to be eaten. All right. Not long ago, when they anyone making a winter hunt, and the old women were without flesh meat at home, I shot a small fat hawk and desired one of them to take and dress it. But though I strongly important to her by the way of the trial, she as earnestly refused it, the fear of contracting pollution, which she called a cursed sickness, and supposed the disease damn, here I gotta lock this camera. It's a cursed sickness, supposedly disease will be the necessary effect of such an impurity. Eagles of every kind they esteem unclean food, likewise ravens. All right. Ravens, though the name of the tribe with them, crows, buzzards, swallows, bats, every species of owls, and they all right, and they believe swallowing flies, mosquito, gnats always breed sickness or worms, according to the quantity. All right, that goes into them, which though they not implied, extraordinary skill in physics shows their retention of the ancient law, which prohibited the swallowing of flies. For this, that the divine sacredness alludes swallowing a camel, and straining a gnat. Such insects were deemed unclean as well as vexations and hurtful. All right, the god of Akron was Beelzebub, or their god rules of fire. But anyway, they obeying the dietary laws, man. All right, and this is this Choctaw Unit. The other page, 65. It said, when swine were first brought among them, they deemed it such a horror abomination in any of their people to eat the filthy and impure food, that they excluded the criminal from all religious communion, their circular town, house, or in their quadrangular holy ground. All right. Okay, so they knew about pork, man. They knew it wasn't no good. They knew all these laws, man. All right, it says they reckon, go back here, page 64. It said they reckon all these animals to be unclean. They are either carnivorous or live on nasty food, such as hogs, wolves, panther, foxes, cats, mice, rats, and if we accept the bear, they deem that all beasts are prey, unhallowed, and polluted. All right, and all amphibious quadruped they rank in the same class. All right, so they knew the dietary laws, man. All right, so they had somebody over here to teach them the laws, man, other than Levi Qanath. All right, you'll joke, man. And the dietary laws in Leviticus 1, Leviticus 11:1, and so on, man. All right, now let's go over what happened to you, the marriage laws. All right, let's see there, brother. Let's see, all right. It says the surviving brother by the Mosaic law was to raise seed to the deceased brother who left a widow childless. All right, so we're gonna skip down here. It says all the widow is bound by strict penal law to mourn the death of her husband for the space of 3 or 4 years. Yet if she be known to lament her loss with a sincere heart for the space of a year, in her circumstances of living are so straight as to need a change of her situation, the elder brother of her deceased husband lies with her. All right, and she is thereby exempt from the law of mourning and has a liberty to tie up her hair and anoint and paint herself in the same manner as the Hebrew widow who was refused by the surviving brother of her deceased husband. All right, became free to marry whom she pleased. All right. All right, so let's see. All right, so right here it says, the surviving brother by Mosaic law. This brother who left it with a child to perpetrate his name and family, inherit his goods and estate, and be degraded. If the issue begat, he was a male child, it assumed the name of the deceased. The Indian custom looks the very same way, yet it is in this as in their law, blood the eldest brother can redeem. All right, so there you go, man. All right, so that's the, when the brother died, the brother met brother died, the brother husband or the woman dies, the brother that man that passed away marries that woman, man. And that's in Deuteronomy 25 verse 5. Okay. All right. See James here, 58 sprinkling of all right. Let me see. All right, so right here, 58. All right, it says the Muscogee Indians sacrifice a piece of every deer, which is a clean animal, according to this. They kill at their hunting camps or near home. If the latter, they dip their middle finger in broth, sprinkle it over domestic tombs of their dead to keep them out. All right. Of the power of evil spirits, according to the mythology, which seem to precede a tradition knowledge. All right. Through the corruption of Hebrew law of sprinkling and of the blood. All right. So that's sprinkling of blood. That's in Exodus 29 and 16. All right. All right. You can see right here. Look right here. It says, like the Israelites, they believe their sins are true cause of all their evils, and that the divinity in their in their art, all right, will always bless more religious party with their best success, man. All right, so they believe their sins. They believe their sins, their evils are due to their sins, man. They come upon them. All right, look right here. It says Yehovah, or correctly Yahweh. All right. All right. So the Shabbat, they keep the Shabbat. Yes, they do. All right. Go to page 93 in Tribes of Israel. All right. Keeping the Shabbat, that's in Exodus 20:11. All right, it says right here, let me get this clear. See if I hope that I could see clear. All right, it said page 93, Mr. Barber said while he was at Atussi in Creek Nation on a Sabbath day, and I hope I pronounced that right, Atussi. All right, somebody put in the comment board if I said it wrong, put in the comment board how to pronounce it correctly. He said he observed a great solemnity in the town and remarkable silence. All right, it's on the Sabbath day. All right, so on the Sabbath day he observed a great solemnity in the town and a remarkable silence. And the retiredness of the red inhabit. They not red, man. They brownish. All right, few of them were to be seen. The doors of their dwellings were shut, and if a child chanced to stray out, it was quickly drawn indoors again. He asked the meaning of this and was immediately answered that it being the people's Sabbath, or Shabbat. All right, the Indians kept the religious sacred to the Great Spirit. All right, so there you go, man. All right, they're observing the Sabbath, man. All right. Now let's see. They got their own Ark of Covenant. Yep. All right. Alright, so this is, let me see. Just bear with me, y'all. These. Let's see, who is this? All right, here you go right here. Page 101. All right, the 10 tribes of Israel. It say, a gentleman who was at Ohio in the year 1756 assured the writer that he saw a stranger there very imposing to view the inside of the Cherokee Ark, which was covered with a dressed deerskin and a placed on a couple of short blocks of wood. The Indian sentinel watched it armed with a hickory bow and brass point bar arrow, and he was faithful to his trust, finding for the stranger and obtruding it with apparent determination. All right, to pollute the supposed sacred vehicle, he drew his arrow to the head and would have shot him through the body had he not suddenly withdrawn. All right, so they had their own ark, man. It said the leader virtue as part of the priest war pro tempore in imitation of the Israelites fighting the divine fighting under the divine military, the old war. They religiously abstained for every kind of intercourse, even with so let me get this. Fighting under the old military brown or old. The Indian would not cohabit with the women while they were out at war. They religiously abstained for every kind of intercourse, even with their own wives, for a space of 3 days and nights before they go out to war. So after they return home, because they are to sanctify themselves. All right, it's just like in the script says. So Joshua commanded the Israelites the night before they marched to sanctify themselves by washing their clothes and avoiding all impurities and avoiding all matrimonial intercourse, man. All right, it says right here, when the Indians return home victorious over the enemy, they sing the triumph song, Yehovah, or Yahweh, ascribing to the victory to him like a religious custom of the Israelites, because they are Israelites, who were commanded always to attribute their success in war to what? All right, this is it ain't Jehovah, to Yahweh, not to their swords and arrows. All right, so this is page 101 in the book the 10 Tribes of Israel, man. So Qanath, your doctrine is false. All right, the so-called Native American Latinos are the Israelites that the Bible speak of, and the 10 tribes of Israel came over here to Americas. All right, so shalom.